A new brewery for the channel. This is the Left-Handed Giant, and this is called Inner State. It's a hazy pale ale coming in at 5.3%. Stunning artwork. Can the beer live up to the beautiful can work on this? Check out the review to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing Inner State. This is from Left-Handed Giant. It's a new brewery we've not had before. They're from Bristol. They do very, they're very characteristic in terms of their artwork. Very sort of, I suppose, stylized, illustrative, a little bit sort of out there. Very funky. Really like the artwork on this one. And this is a hazy pale ale. It's 5.3%, so sort of the right sort of level for a pale ale. This has got Citra, Cairo, Galaxy and Mosaic. So it's got those Cairo Citra hops in there. A little bit more bite. In fact, I don't even know what that does make them. As I mentioned in another video that I've done fairly recently about the fact that there's all these different hops, these Cairo hops, these Spectrum hops of Citra. Just to make the beer better, which hopefully is going to be best for us, So don't know really much more about this, but let's pop it open and see what it's like. £4.40 this one cost me, so it's it's a little bit expensive, I think, for a pale ale. But Left-Handed Giant, there's a lot of beers out there by them, and I think they're one of those sort of breweries that I want to add to the roster of great breweries. So beer in a glass. We've got this sort of orange haze, 2 fingers of sort of very compacted off-white head there. Looks like a hazy pale ale. Let's see what it smells like. Yeah, it's quite difficult to pick out any sort of big aromas with this. In fact, I'm hardly picking up anything. This is a weird one, because, it's fairly fresh. I looked at the best before, and it was the 25th of January, or 25th of January was when it was canned. So best before 25th of July. It's another 6-month time. But yeah, I can't pick up anything. Gets me worried. I can smell this beer, and that's about it. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. It's nice, it's fruity, it's juicy, but it's difficult to determine what it is. It's got a nice sort of real soft mouthfeel to it. It's light, it's refreshing, no bitterness at all. But there's very little big pungent sort of fruit flavours. It's got a slight tropical flavour. It's got a slight fruity citrus of oranges and lemons and that sort of thing. But I'm not really picking up much at all. There's no big sort of mango or pineapple. There's not grapefruit. There's not passion fruit, maybe. We do get it with hazy pale ales where you taste something, oh, that's a fruity little number. And they go, well, what fruit is it? And you go, I don't know. It's difficult to determine. I think it looks pretty damn good in a glass. It's lovely and soft on the mouth. And like any good pale ale, it's a sort of beer that you can just knock back because it's got a lovely, nice softness to it. And that makes you knock it back really quickly. No bitterness. I just think the flavours needed to be a little bit more amped up so I can describe them for you, the viewer. But it's a really pleasant beer. I'm a little bit flummoxed by it. Because I can't really pick out a fruit. There's all of those sort of fruits. There's a bit of tropical, a bit of mango, a bit of passion fruit. There's a bit of citrus and lemons and limes, a bit of orange in there. Not any grapefruit. There's no bitterness. There's not pininess or anything like that in there. It's just a very good, solid, hazy pale ale. It reminds me a little bit of things like some of those cheap supermarket pale ales, which is a bit disappointing. £4.40 is a bit expensive, but it's similar to Hop, Skip and Juice, for example. Even Merc Life Balance, which is another one that I quite like, which is a pale ale from Magic Rock. The star of it is, I think, it's the fact that it's got a lovely and soft mouthfeel. The flavours to me need to be a bit amped up a bit, but because there's nothing too big and amped up, it makes it really easy, and it's just a nice little fruity beer. Pretty good. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for this left-handed giant hazy pale called Interstate, 5.3%, 440ml can, Citra Cairo, Galaxy and Mosaic. You'd expect with those sort of hops that there's a big aroma and a big flavour profile, but it's a bit of a weird one, this. It's certainly not an unpleasant beer, but the scoring may be a bit all over the place, because first things first, the aroma. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I just, there was too much head on it or something. But it's really difficult to pick out an aroma from that. It's probably the least. No, I mean, there's nothing. It's a very different. You can smell its beer. You can smell a slight fruitiness to it, but that's it. It's very, very difficult to pick out a real nice aroma, which is a bit disappointing. So it's going to get a low score. I mean, how low can I go with the fact that it certainly doesn't smell unpleasant, but there's just nothing really there. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 20. That's a pretty low score for aroma. 8 out of 20. Appearance-wise, well, that's where it picks up a little bit, because it's a lovely hazy pale ale. Look at the lacing of the glass. Looks pretty good. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Flavour-wise, well, like the aroma, nothing really jumps out. You know, you don't get big, excuse me, big tropical sort of aromas, flavours, sorry. You're not getting big citrus flavours and grapefruits. It's just a bit fruity. That's it. And it doesn't really have something that you can sort of describe, really. It's just got a nice fruitiness to it. The star is mainly the fact that it's got nice and soft, low levels of carbonation, which is good for a pale ale, and it's just wrapped up in this very easy to drink, fruity little number, I suppose. So flavour-wise, I'm giving it 32. I don't want to knock it back too much, but I can't really give it high enough scores because there's not like big pungent flavours in there. Value for money. Well, £4.40 for this can. I think that's it looks, the can itself looks great. But for me, I think that's a little expensive, especially in terms of the flavour in there. Yes, it's not unpleasant, but there's not big stone fruit flavours or big citrus or tropical flavours. So I'm a little bit disappointed. So value for money, I'm knocking it back to a 6 out of 10. And then overall experience. Well, this is where the score was a bit higher because it's a very easy to drink pale ale. It's one of those beers that is inoffensive, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. It needs some flavours to really pop from it. So I'm a little disappointed by that. But I think in the same basis, I think in terms of the overall experience, it's good because it's so easy drinking and it's got a nice body and mouthfeel to it. So I'm giving it 15 for overall experience. So we top those scores up and we still get a recommended 72 out of 100. It's not the best score. It's not the best pale ale I've ever drank. And at £4.40, it's a little expensive for me. There are better supermarket pails for that money. I think things like Faith by Northern Monk, which you can get now for as little as £2, is a better pale ale than this, just because it's got a little bit more flavour to it. Probably not the body that this has got, but it's got more flavour to it. So it's not a bad beer. Left-handed giant. Maybe there's other left-handed giants that I should try. Certainly there's plenty out there. Seen plenty of IPAs that I should really try next. So anyone had a left-handed giant, know a good one that I should try, let me know in the comments. So there's your video for today. Hope you enjoyed that. And until the next one, keep on rocking.